Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So it's been 1 month since my son and I moved to Albania in the capital Tirana, and I don't even know where to start, because on one hand we're so happy and so excited to be here, but on the other we're kind of like, oh, what did we just do? So the first month, it hasn't actually been all about exploring Tirana, because we're not tourists. We moved here because we're starting a whole new life. And because of that, we look at our money a little bit differently than a tourist, because you come down with a wad of cash and you're like, I want to do this and I want to do that and I want to do this. But when you're moving to Albania, there's a whole different look at things. From, you just paid for your very expensive flight to get here. So now you're thinking about your apartment, the bills you're gonna have, the visas you need to pay for, the residence permits, all of these things that accumulate up, including taxes, because now you gotta pay your taxes. So being a Canadian, this is all new and different, and I'm here now in my brand new apartment. And as I said, we look at things a little bit differently, so we really haven't done a lot of going out and exploring. And let me tell you, week 1, I was staying at my friend's apartment, and that's why I wasn't doing a lot of videoing. I was actually on her channel helping her out and doing a little bit of explaining on how I got here. So if you haven't gone to jump onto hers to go and check that out, do so now. My last video was about my son and I actually coming here. Also another great video to check out. Now, when I got here the first week, as I said, I've stayed at my friend's apartment. And in that week, we were going from her place into City Central, and we were doing a little bit of walking around and exploring, and we went through Skanderbeg Square. I took some photos and videos, went out for dinner one night, and I've gone to a few coffee shops and break places, but I really haven't explored. And a couple of days ago, I finally went to Toptani, which is the very tall mall. So I finally went through that, because on the first week here, I was so excited to go, and we had been walking around all day long, and I had been hustling and bustling the whole week, that when I finally got to that mall, I was so exhausted that I just wanted to go back to her apartment and go to sleep. So I walked in, took a few videos or photos, and I said, okay, that's it. I need to go home and sleep. I'm tired. So 2 days ago, I went and I finally did the whole mall, all the way up to the top, sat down, had food in the food court, and then came all the way back down to go back out to come home. And while I was all doing that, I was also apartment searching. I think I saw 4 or 5 different apartments, and each one had different things that I liked and didn't like. But after all of that, I decided to get this apartment. The price was right in the middle of all of the ones that I was looking at. And I went from, these are my must-haves, and my ultimate one was I need a view with a balcony. And I trooped up the hill, and it's not a hill, it's the side of a freaking mountain, okay? Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled by when people say it's a hill. It's not. It's like a mountain, okay? You're climbing up a mountain. And I went all the way up there. I looked at a brand new apartment. Loved the views. I loved the balconies. I had a view of the mountains on one side, a city view on the other side, and I fell in love with this apartment. The only problem was that it was very expensive and it was smaller than all the rest, so I felt very cramped in the apartment. And the only thing that was winning on the apartment was the views. I do miss those views. Don't get me wrong. And then I went for a cheaper one, but it was on the other side of the mountain, and that climb was 10 times worse. So that was out. I was done with the hills. This apartment here is right in the little town that I'm in, and I have shops, and I have the grocery stores, and I have coffee shops, everything in walking distance. So every single day I don't have to get up and go, the hill. I actually walk out, I walk a block down the street, and I'm at the grocery store, and I can grab whatever I wanted. It takes me 2 minutes. I'm good with that. So I did lose the views, as you can see out my patio door, but I did gain this huge patio, and that was the big seller for me on this apartment, other than it was walking distance into town. So those were the two things that did win out in the end. Was I had a huge balcony, and I'm going to get some patio furniture, and I'm going to get some vegetables to grow on that porch, and I'm going to fancy it all up, but in time. In time. In time. So we have been here now for almost 30 days. And in those 30 days, I've accomplished 10 times more than I was able to accomplish back in Canada. In Canada, it takes you months and months to try to get an apartment and to come up with the first and last month's rent. And yes, in Canada, you only have to pay first month's and last month's, and that's it. Where here, you're paying your first month's, your last month's, your deposit, which is the same price as your rent, and then half a month's rent to your agent for finding you your place. Now, all the places I looked at, I found online, and I told the agent, I want to see these places. And he just set it up. So that's a big setback when you come here. But in Canada, like, it took me months to try to find a place, and a lot of sweet talking and trying to persuade landlords, okay, don't look at my credit because it sucks, and just trust me that I can take this place. Where here, I told the agent, he set it up. The next day I was out looking at the apartment, and, you know, I liked the place, and then I had a problem. There was communication problems because it was going through a lot of people, and the lady who showed me this apartment originally, I couldn't get a hold of her because she was going through a friend of mine, and I was like, oh, I really missed the view. I really missed the view. So I had to wind up getting a hold of another agent who showed me the apartment on the other side, way up on the hill. And it was cheaper, and it was still nice. It had beautiful views. It was tiny. It was perfect for my son and I. But the issue was I did not want to climb that hill every day. And there was no little stores around that apartment. So I had to climb all the way down the hill, get my stuff, and then lug it back up the hill. And I was like, I'm going to be winding up taking a cab every single day to come up this hill. And I was like, no, I'm not into that. So I turned that one down, and my agent's like, oh, I have another one. And I come back, and it's the exact same apartment I've already looked at. And I said, well, I'm taking it. I'm done looking at places. It's got two of the main things that I need, being close to stores and have a big balcony that I can sit out on. So I took this apartment, and within a week, 1 week, okay, of staying at my friend's place, I secured my apartment. I got my my internet turned on. And then the superintendent came to my door a couple of days ago looking for maintenance bills. So I paid that. That was in 1 week, okay? I stayed at my friend's place for 1 week, and a week later, I was in my home. I landed on the 11th of April, and I moved into my apartment on the 20th. That's how fast things go. So if you like it, it will just fall into your lap. That's how fast things move. And so that's what I did. I moved into my apartment on the 20th, and then on the 21st I had internet, and now we're struggling trying to get groceries in the house because I've paid out so much. But believe me, in a couple of months it will get easier. And you know, I hummed and hawed about this for 7 long years. And why? Because I went and told everybody, oh, I'm moving to China. Oh, I'm moving to Poland. Oh, I'm moving to Albania. And then they heard she's moving to Albania again for the second time. And they didn't believe me. And they kept telling me I was crazy. And then they told me that I couldn't leave because I had family here and I had friends here and I'm just not giving Canada a good enough shot. I'm trying to run away. And that wasn't the case at all. I made those walls and I turned those walls into a great big mountain that I couldn't climb over. And I made numerous of them. And the thing was that I didn't have to do that. I could have left on my own just fine, and Canada would have still survived without me, and so did everybody back there. I made them in my head because I listened to everybody say, you can't do this. And that sunk into my head. And how did I go about breaking that mountain down? I took each obstacle one by one. My first was my children, because I have older children. They're all adults. And I looked at it going, I understand they're my children. But I see my 2 boys once a year. I may talk to them on Facebook maybe 4 or 5 times a month, if that. And I thought, Christmas came again and they didn't come. They came down for Thanksgiving, but they missed Christmas with me. And so why am I making everything my problem? This isn't my problem. It's theirs. They chose not to come see me. I've always had the doors open to them. So when I stopped and thought about it, I was like, I'm a plane ride away. If you really want to see me, come on down. So my door is open to them. If they want to come down, come see me. If you don't, you know how to use a computer to see me. So I'm like, you know what? Jump on the computer, FaceTime me. So when I eliminated that hurdle, I was like, oh, that was fairly easy to come to a decision on that. And then there was my daughter and my granddaughters. Well, my daughter hasn't spoken to me in a year. That means that I haven't seen my grandkids in a year. So why am I making that as an excuse? If she wants to see me, all she has to do is unblock me and talk to me. I'm willing to work things out. You want a vacation? Hop on a plane, come down and stay here. I don't care if we're in a fight or not. You're still my daughter. They're still my grandkids. You're more than welcome to come. So I wasn't going to be held back by my children that are grown adults. They're old enough to do what they want. So am I. Then it came to my mom and my brother. My brother's kind of got a shady past and kind of likes to manipulate my mom a lot because of that. Always pestering her for money. She's a senior. She lives on a fixed income. Don't do that to her. So I sat there going, well, somebody's got to protect my mom. But then I stopped and realized, where was everybody when I was growing up? I was always the black sheep of the family. Now I've turned into Cinderella. I get a phone call, Carrie, he's bothering me, take care of him. Carrie, I need help. Carrie, can you go get me the groceries? I became Cinderella. I went from, he was the boy with the silver spoon in his mouth, and I was just here. I was the kid with the learning disability, so she doesn't mean as much as the boy with the silver spoon. And I'm not trying to say on this, make this sound negative, but from my eyes, I had to do everything right when he got away with everything. And then all of a sudden, when you realize that he wasn't as perfect as you thought he was, now all of a sudden you're going to call beckoning on me to do everything? No, it's not how it works. You can't treat one more than the other. So I made the decision that, yes, somebody needs to be there for my mom. Well, my brother lives in that town. If he's Golden Boy, he can take his place back and start being Golden Boy, and he can start helping my mom out. That shouldn't deter me from doing what I want to do in life. I've constantly made sure that I lived close enough to help everybody in the family out. When you called, I came running. I got a thank you here and a thank you there, but that didn't really mean much. So that hurdle was chopped in half. It became a speed bump. I gave my mom a laptop. She calls me every Wednesday night. We FaceTime, we talk, and I've always told her, anytime, just give me a shout. I'm 6 hours ahead of you. Just remember that. So that's been working out. Then there was my son's health, and everybody kept saying, you can't do that. You can't run away when he's this sick. We've been at Chio since COVID. He's getting better. He's hardly taking his meds anymore. And then when I looked into it, I just need the prescription bottle. I can take it into the pharmacy and have it refilled. No biggie. So why am I sitting around day after day waiting for Chio to call me saying, okay, he needs to come in for a checkup, which every checkup says the exact same thing over and over and over again. Chio is a great hospital, but after 3 years of hearing the same diagnosis over and over again, always getting better, those statistics that they give me were the exact same. So we packed up his medicine and came down. That hurdle was taken down. Listening to friends and family tell me that I was crazy and what if this happens and what if that happens? When I stopped listening to that and started listening to myself, that's when all of that mountain came down and they became teeny tiny little speed bumps for me to just climb over. Then I knew it was time to go. Everybody can do it. I did it, you can do it. Don't let those speed bumps turn into mountains. And if they are mountains, figure a way to cut them back down. Because if you're really, really determined to start a new life abroad, you will do it. If you're just humming and hawing and liking the sounds of the words, I want to move abroad, are you really going to move abroad? And that's how I thought for the longest time. I love the sound of it. I love the vision of it. But let's go and do it. And that's what I did. Because Canada's still surviving without me. My family is still alive. They're still going about their day-to-day business. I'm just not in the equation anymore. And as sad as that sounds, that I'm not by my family, we didn't really hang out much. We didn't really get together much. And when I did see my family, it was always, Carrie, do this, Carrie, do that, Carrie, do this, Carrie, do that. And I just got tired of it. I got tired of the same thing over and over again. And I wasn't living my life. I didn't know who I was anymore. I didn't know where I was going or what I was to do because I felt like I had to be somebody I wasn't. Now I gotta be me in a new country, living life. As I said, we've been here for a month. I've accomplished flying down here, getting an apartment, getting my internet hooked up, my cell phone hooked up. I've paid my maintenance fees. I've paid my agency fee. We've got a little bit of groceries, and I'll show you what my cupboard looks like. My son brought his desktop computer from Canada down here in 2 suitcases. I'll also put in a clip of how we moved that. So as you can see, we have the 2 suitcases here. And these are the things that we had. So this one had the tower and the keyboard in it. And then this one had the monitor and the mouse and stuff in it. So what I had done, as you can see, there is these fragile stickers, and I plastered the suitcases with them. They're on the sides, they're on the top, they're on the bottoms, everywhere. And then what I did was inside, okay, I took my pillow, and it was in one of those vacuum sealed shrink bags, and I put it on the very bottom of this. And then I took the monitor and the tower, and I wrapped it in the bubble wrap, which I used the fragile stickers because I had so many to tape the bubble wrap nice and tight on around the devices. And then I took all of our sweatshirts, because this was flat. I took all our sweaters and I wrapped it all the way around the top and the sides, all the way around this. So the tower was sitting in the middle, all bubble wrapped. Then I took our clothes and wrapped it around. And then I wrapped the tower in a blanket around it. And I used, I'm gonna move this out of the way. I did it on this side. So if you can imagine the pillow being on this side, and the reason why, because once the pillow is in the vacuum sealed bag, it goes flatter. And I didn't suck all the air out. I just made it so that the pillow was flat against the bottom of the suitcase. And then after wrapping it in the bubble wrap and the clothes, I sealed this thing so that when the suitcase moved, it would be securely in here. And so we've got the clothes lining the side, then we got the pillow flat, then the tower in all of our beautiful bubble wrap, and then wrapped in a blanket and smushed down there. And then I lay another fabric over top, and I think it was another sweatshirt or something, because I put sweatpants when my son's around and then a sweater over top. Sealed this up, and then on this side of the suitcase I lined it with clothes, and then I put all his little trinkets in here, and then again put one layer flat of clothes, and I sealed it up, and that tower did not wiggle at all inside the suitcase. And because of the fragile stickers on here, when we got to the first check-in, a lady said, "Oh, what's inside your suitcase?" And I said, "My son's gaming computer." And she's like, "Oh, okay, well, that's good." I didn't have the straps like everybody else, or plastic wrap the outside of my suitcase like everybody did. I put these fragile stickers, handle with care, on them, and they made it through perfectly. There's not a scratch on our suitcase. Nothing's broken. Like, that's the only part. It got warped, but it's not broken through. Like, the suitcase came in perfect condition, both of them. So that's how we moved a whole brand new top of the line gaming computer down to Albania, and we did not take out any parts. I can't guarantee that it'd be as smooth as we did, but I learned a few tricks by talking to a lot of people and listening to a lot of vlogs, and I did it totally the opposite of what the vlogs told me to do. But it made it here in one piece: a monitor, a tower, a keyboard, and a mouse, all in perfect condition. The ups and downs of moving, this is what it is. When you're in Canada or the US and you're thinking about coming, you see the obstacles, you see the pros and the cons. All right, we've gone through that. Now we've landed here. We're starting a whole new life, not knowing the language, the culture, anything. Everything is new and exciting. But for me, it was just new. I'd watched so many videos on Albania. I think I've watched every single YouTuber out there. I think I've watched every walking tour and everything about Albania. So I kind of knew what I was expecting. Plus, my friend had lived here for a whole year already. So she had already been filming and telling me about things. So when I got here, I kind of knew what I was expecting and what I was walking into. The thing is that when I came, I left Canada with $126 in my hand, which when I got to Spain, I changed to euros. And then when I got to Tirana, I changed to lek. And that was fine, okay. But what people say and how you feel after is totally different. So when people say you have your ups and downs, they were not joking. The thing was that I heard but didn't realize how bad that will get. And I remember waking up one morning in panic, and I panicked almost the whole day. I was sitting there going, oh my God, what did I just do? I just moved my son out of the only country he's ever known. He's never really left the Ottawa Valley. So I uprooted this kid and brought him to Albania. And I was sitting there going, oh my God, what did I just do? For a girl who grew up in special ed and got teased her entire life and was put down by many people about being different and not thinking the way they want me to think and act the way they wanted me to act, I was like, oh God, did I just get myself over my head? What did I just do? Seriously, I just left my country and went abroad. That was me. I text my friend and I'm like, I think I'm having a panic attack. And she's like, what's wrong? I said, I think I'm panicking. I'm like, my wallet is empty. How am I going to get food for my kid? What did I just do? Like, I just left Canada and came here. And she's like, I get it. I understand. I've gone through it myself, but you got this. You really, really have this. And I'm like, are you sure? I don't think so. And she's like, no, you got this, girl. You got this. And she's like, don't forget, groceries are cheaper. Just pare down to the very bare minimum and you can get something every single day. Don't worry, just keep it simple. And she's like, you've got your apartment, you've paid your bills, you've got this. And I'm like, I really hope so. I really hope I did not make a mistake for my son. Well, we've been living off of homemade pizzas, sandwiches, and now spaghetti. That is our meals. But we're doing it. And we know that we will get out of this hump. That is for sure, okay? Now, I came without any plans whatsoever, and I don't recommend that, okay? Don't do what I did. I had a friend here that took us in, so that saved me the Airbnb money. And I did not have health insurance lined up. I had no job lined up. And I told everybody I did because I didn't want all the BS. I didn't want to deal with that. And I knew I would get a job easily down here. But I left with just, I got 2 passports. I got money for a ticket. Let's go. And that's what I did. So don't do that. Get everything lined up. You know, make sure you have income coming in, make sure you have your health insurance, make sure you have your money for your visas and your taxes and stuff like that, and everything else that Christine says on her channel, Connects Abroad, okay? Go check them out. But do we regret anything? No, I would do it the exact same way. If Christine didn't tell me to book my tickets that day, I wouldn't be here because my next date to move was April 21st or May 3rd. And that was the 8th of April. I booked my tickets. I left on the 9th and I arrived here on the 11th at 1 a.m. And Christine and I went through this the other day. If I had waited even till the 21st, I would have spent all that money. I would have spent it on frivolous shit, pardon my language, and I would have spent money on expensive groceries and not had anything. So if I didn't make that decision to say, hell with the hurdles and jump on a plane, I wouldn't be sitting here today. I'd still be sleeping on the mattress in my living room of my apartment. Did I make a good decision? Yes. Do I regret anything? No. Would I do it the same way again? Yes. Do I recommend this for you? No. But I'm hoping that my videos that I have made and are making, you get something out of it. And you understand that anybody can do this if you put your mind to it. Because we're not regretting this. And I can't wait till next year and the year after. I can't wait till 10 years from now. Because this is where I'm retiring. This is my life. And I'm 100% sure I made the right decision. And hopefully in a couple of years, I'll be able to speak the language down here very fluently so I can fit in a little bit better. But for now, I'm going to stumble and fall with these words until I get it. Thank you so much for coming and watching, and look forward to seeing you guys all again. Bye for now.